I don't know.
Oh,
it can be.
Is the open cold?
I don't know. I'm feeling a little chilly.
I'm a little chilly in here.
Yeah. It was a little warm. I had to take off my jacket, but now that we're opening, it is a little cold.
I've currently got my jacket on, but I'm afraid if I move any degree, then the sound of my pins rustling will immediately trigger the mic.
Oh, probably. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Is It Better Than Paddington 2? This is the movie review show where myself and a guest come together to discuss whatever film I have chosen for this episode and ask the ever-important question, is it better than Paddington 2, the film that dethroned Citizen Kane on Rotten Tomatoes?
The best film of all time?
Possibly. I'm your host, Ben Selsor, and I am joined today by my good friend.
I am Sloane Jessamine Quick-Draw McCraw.
Who is a legend here at SIU.
I try my best.
Mm-hmm. What are your qualifications to be talking about film?
What are my qualifications to be talking about film?
Yeah. Why do I have you here?
I am a master shit poster. I made the online hit Eagle
with 21 views, baby.
Yeah, based on Eagles attending people to horses.
One of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah, it's got to happen at some point.
It's gonna. We'll cook on that later, but we're not cooking on that now. This episode, we're actually looking at a fairly recent movie, one of my most anticipated movies of the year. We're going to be talking about Five Nights at Freddy's.
How many nights?
5.
I don't think they ever really, I think there's always more than 5.
In the movie, there was only 5.
No, were there?
Yeah. I was keeping count the entire time. And in the movie, he only
5.
spends 5 nights at Freddy's. But in all of the games, there's normally at least 7.
Yeah. 7,
which
8
is false
if
advertising.
You count 420 mode.
That's the 7th.
Is that 7th?
Normally.
Oh, okay.
Which is just false advertising, honestly.
Truly.
I think we should sue Scott Cawthon over that.
Well, you have to get to the whole work week, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
So
but, I was told that it was a 5-day work week. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, I don't know. For a security night guard, I guess you can. Do you ever get a night off for that kind of routine?
Do they get? Maybe they should hire another guy to do the weekends.
That's fair. Oh, I think they did have another guy, but
Fazbear Entertainment does not have enough money to hire more than one night security guard because they are too busy with all the lawsuits from all the dead children.
Yeah, well, the pay isn't great, but the nights are worse.
Yeah.
Or the hours are worse.
So we saw this movie together.
Yes, we did.
In theaters the day it came out.
Mm-hmm.
A big old group of us went to the local AMC theater and saw FNAF together. I was dressed for the occasion. I was dressed as the purple guy from the video games, a.k.a. the man behind the slaughter, a.k.a. William Afton, a.k.a. Springtrap, a.k.a. Scrap Trap, a.k.a. Glitch Trap. He goes by many names.
Can I tell you something funny about
of course.
Your costume for that night?
Please.
You know how you looked so long for a purple polo?
Yeah.
I was cleaning out my car the other day, and you know what I found?
Funny.
I found a purple polo.
Funny.
Right in my trunk.
Yeah, I was looking for a purple shirt. I wanted a purple dress shirt for the outfit so I could wear a tie with it. And I looked at 7 or 8 stores here in the Carbondale area, and nowhere did they have it. Which doesn't make any sense to me.
That is strange. I don't know where I got mine. Probably an Old Navy or something.
Yeah, I ended up going with just a purple T-shirt that I got for $3 at Hobby Lobby. But that's not the point. My costume isn't the point.
Yeah.
So we saw this movie together. What were your initial thoughts on Five Nights at Freddy's?
So going into the movie, I was of course very excited.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. Being a youngin' that I am, I have grown up with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, grown up with the game series that turned it into a movie.
Right.
So I was going in not really with high expectations. I kind of knew it would be garbage.
Yeah.
But I went
not
in.
Not to spoil the ratings or anything.
No, not at all. But I knew it wouldn't be like peak cinema.
No. No, I knew that it wasn't going to be a masterpiece or anything.
Yeah. But I went in and like I did like it when I first watched it because there's just something like there's like some campiness about it and surprisingly a lot more violent than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Like
It's got the PG-13 rating, but it does it feels like it's trying to push its limits at times.
Oh yeah.
Like in particular, the spring locking scene was a lot more brutal than I thought it was going to be. I wish it was more brutal, but it was a lot more intense than I expected it to be.
Absolutely.
I agree. I've been a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's since the first game came out in 2014, when I was a wee boy of 12.
Oh boy.
Just a young man. And I've been a fan ever since. And so and this movie, I think, was talked about as early as 2015 after the third game.
I think so.
So this has been in pre-production hell for 8 years.
Yeah.
And finally exists.
No one in their right mind would pull on writers and green light a Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
No, and that's why we have Jason Blum of Blumhouse, because he's clearly not in his right mind.
They make good films.
They do make good movies. They do, and this is one of them, in my opinion. So, objectively speaking, in terms of writing and cinematography and story and all of that, this movie does kind of suck.
Yeah. I can give it one thing. The shot composition in this movie is oddly really good, especially dream sequence wise.
Yes, there are a lot of really cool, unbroken 360-degree shots.
Yeah,
that are really nice. Especially in the dream sequences, the shot composition is really nice, and the way that characters are framed is normally pretty cool. Especially whenever you have the animatronics on screen and they're normally lurking in the background, or you can just see their shadows on the walls in the background.
Yeah. Oh, it's framed really well, and
beautiful. It
has looming terror that is kind of prominent, but it's not scary ever.
No, I would say the horror in this movie comes from suspense more than anything else, which isn't a bad thing, but the issue is the suspense, for me, what it was doing was it was me realizing what exactly was going on and being in suspense because, I have just realized this thing that may be about to happen, but the idea of the thing happening itself doesn't scare me at all.
That is,
it's just fair. It's like the connecting the dots thing.
Yeah,
that was doing it for me.
But the journey.
Yeah, because let's talk about the story a little bit. Let's talk about the story.
Right.
So there's this guy. His name is Mike, played by the beautiful and handsome Josh Hutcherson.
Oh my god. He's the third handsomest man in that movie.
Who's the first?
Matthew Lillard.
Okay, that's what I figured. Who's the second?
Corey Kenshin.
Fair enough. So Mike is a guy with some mental issues. Whenever he was young, he saw his brother Garrett get kidnapped whenever he was supposed to be watching him, and they never found him. And now he's a very troubled man. He is an adult. He takes care of he has custody over his younger sister, Abby, and is currently having a custody battle with their aunt, which is just not even a B or C plot. This is a D plot.
Yeah. It's far removed.
Yeah, it's brought up in the beginning, briefly in the middle, and then never brought up again.
The thing is, you don't really... I love that plot line because you don't need to justify Mike wanting to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
You simply just have to go, shit, I am out of money.
Yeah, you don't need the custody battle subplot. It works to facilitate other events in the movie,
Yeah.
but ultimately, like, you don't need any justification for Mike to get a job, and you also don't need justification for him to get a job that kind of sucks, because he gets fired from a different security guard job because he brutally beat a man in broad daylight because he mistakenly believed that he was kidnapping a child. And so he gets fired from that job. And so, like, Matthew Lillard, who plays a career counselor by the name of Steve Raglan, is like in their first scene together, he's just like, I'm gonna be honest with you, Mike, like, given your track record, your options are going to be extremely limited. I think that's an exact quote.
Yeah, it is. I've seen that scene so many times now.
It's very
everywhere.
funny. It's very fun. Matthew Lillard is perfect.
Oh my gosh, his
in this
delivery
movie.
in every scene is good.
He's given it his 100% cheesy 90s slasher all in this movie.
That's what it needs.
Yeah, that's kind of what this movie feels like. Like, it doesn't feel like a horror movie like Halloween or Alien or anything like that. It feels like Scream.
Yeah, it does. It does feel,
It's because it's
he's playing
very
Stu again.
Yeah, it's very funny and self-aware while being and the horror takes a bit of a back seat to it, but it is still there. You do still like fear for the characters in certain scenes, especially whenever it pulls like some really unexpected shit, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So Matthew Lillard, Steve Raglan, is just like, hey man, I got this job for you. It's at this place called Freddy Fazbear's, which is basically just a defunct like Chuck E. Cheese, essentially.
Yeah.
And so Mike reluctantly takes the job, and it's a night security guard shift. But ooh, spooky! The animatronics come alive.
They get a little bit quirky.
They get a little bit quirky at night, to put it lightly. And so the animatronics come to life at night, and we see them in like the cold open of the movie kill another security guard.
Yeah.
But they don't try to kill Mike straight away, but he starts having weird dreams at this place. So he stays going to the place because he's trying to like go into his dreams and access the memory of the day his brother was kidnapped so he can try and find the guy.
Mike needs to go to therapy.
Mike needs to go to therapy. Instead, he's going to Freddy's.
Yeah,
Which, personally in my life, going to Freddy's would cure me of everything.
Fair.
But in his life, probably not so much.
Yeah, because he's haunted by ghosts in his dreams.
Mm-hmm. And those ghosts in his dreams are, plot twist, the ghosts haunting the animatronics. Which, side note, I really love how they handle the explanation of the ghosts in this movie, because Mike brings Abby with him to one of his shifts because he can't get a hold of their sitter because the previous day her and her friends broke into Freddy's and she got chomped in half. Like, she gets bitten in half at the waist by Freddy, and it's really funny and surprisingly brutal.
Yeah, Freddy gave her that double-decker weight reduction.
Freddy gave her the old bite of 87. I said that in the movie theater. I turned to Riley and said, "Was that the bite of 87?"
I think 5 other people.
Because I'm so funny. Because I'm so funny and original.
Okay, well, just think about also really quickly like the theater culture for this film.
Oh yeah,
Insane. Everyone was talking during the movie, and like there were parts where everyone's like fully cheering. Like, Matt Pat is in the movie, guys. If you didn't know, if you didn't see, Matt Pat even posted his own talk about it.
Yeah, like, so Matt Pat is a YouTuber of the channel The Game Theorists, and has basically built a career off of making
FNAF content.
Yeah, off of FNAF content. Like, he made video game theories prior, but he started making Five Nights at Freddy's theories, and they got wildly popular, and he's got like 80 videos of this now. And so he has a little cameo in the movie, which is really funny. But like, at first, nobody knew it was him until the shot is directly on his face. And as soon as he appeared on screen, everybody in our theater started freaking the fuck
Screaming.
out.
Yeah.
And then like we couldn't hear his dialogue, but somebody says the line, like he says the line, "Lunch is the most important meal of the day." And one of the other characters says, "I thought it was breakfast." And Matt says, you know, some people believe that, but it's just a theory. And everybody started screaming again.
Says it so smug. It's just a theory.
That's just a theory.
Yeah.
It's so perfect.
It had gotten just quiet enough because like that scene is
Yeah.
oddly timed enough so perfectly. So it's like, okay, they're gonna scream. All right, it's gonna quiet. That's just a theory.
Yeah, like we didn't hear most of the dialogue because people were busy screaming, but then they stopped screaming right before he said that's just a theory, and then we started screaming again. It was perfect. Like I've never had such a fun movie theater experience before.
Honestly.
Because everybody who saw it on the night that we saw it was like all like-minded individuals, like all people that have been fans of the series since they were kids.
Well,
And
we saw
so-
it like opening night, not premiere night, but opening.
Yeah, we saw it Friday of the 27th of October, whenever it premiered, at 7:10 p.m. And it was a wonderful time. But going back to the plot, the way that they handled the explanation of the ghosts is really funny to me because Mike has to take Abby to one of his shifts because the sitter's dead, but he doesn't know that. And at some point, she wanders out of the office because Mike has fallen asleep, even though he told her not to. And she goes up to the animatronics, and they start coming to life. And at first we think, oh, no, they're going to get her. But then Mike comes up, and the animatronics are actually being really friendly with her. And she says that they are her friends, which she has made references to these quote-unquote friends throughout the movie. And so at this point, it's revealed, like, oh, her friends are the ghost children.
Yeah.
And then the next day, they're home, and Mike sits down to talk to Abby about what happened. And he's, like, trying to ask her the question if they're ghosts, but he's kind of, like, dodging the wording of the question. And she's like, are they ghosts? Of course they are. How else could they make the robots move?
That is...
Of course.
That is the lamest, like, excuse to, like, explain something in dialogue. Especially when you have a character that is a child. I don't care how, like, defined at the edges your child character is. They are talking with other dead children. That is mortifying.
That is mortifying. But I just love the way that she says the line because she's just like, of course they are. How else could they make the robots move? Of course.
Yeah.
Fucking idiot, Mike. What do you
great.
mean? What do you mean are they ghosts? What else could they be?
Yeah.
Like she handles it so matter-of-factly. And it killed me whenever we were watching it because it's just like, I mean, I guess if you're gonna like fumble your way through this explanation, this is the best way to do it.
Yeah,
the funniest way to do it, certainly.
It's campy.
It's great. And so Mike like ends up bringing her back the next night, and Officer Vanessa shows up.
Officer Vanessa,
which is a character that was introduced prior, who is a police officer. Who's kind of familiar with Freddy's and sort of gives the same kind of pep talks to all the night guards because the night guards never last, normally because they die. And so she shows up and she's just like, what is the kid doing here? Because, what is the kid doing there?
Yeah.
Like Mike says that he couldn't find a sitter. I find that very hard to believe. Like, you live in a, like, suburban small town. There's got to be a high school that needs some cash, dude.
I was gonna say,
like, there's no way you couldn't find a sitter.
You can't spare like $30.
$30 for an evening. You know how many high schoolers would jump at the opportunity to make $30 doing nothing?
For real.
Like, so they're there and the animatronics come to life again. And then there's the fort building scene. What are your thoughts on the fort building scene? Because this is a controversial one.
Okay. For the direction they went with the movie, I think it is very cute and actually has a decent flow between like the whole like kid ghost thing and then like also the confused revenge spirit thing or vengeful spirit. But other than that, I watched it and I was like, man, I could get 20 minutes less of this.
Fair enough.
You know, it's like, I don't know. It wasn't that long.
Yeah.
but it was.
It did go on for a while.
It did. It went on a little too long.
I think like because this is the fourth night.
The thumbs up. Just
Bonnie falling over and giving the thumbs up. Very funny. I saw an edit of that
sticker.
where somebody changed it so that he stuck up his middle finger.
Are you okay, buddy?
No, this is like the fourth night, I believe, and I think that this whole sequence takes longer than the entire first night did.
Yes. Oh yeah. The pacing of the nights is so off.
The pacing of the movie is a little strange.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It takes its time where it probably shouldn't, and it rushes where it should probably take its time.
Yeah. Because like most of the day segments are entirely taken up by the custody battle stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I would have much rather seen a lot more Matthew Lillard in those times.
Yeah, I do. Like, I wish that he was in more of the movie. He's really only in the beginning and the end, which kind of sucks.
Three.
Because like he takes the role in that first night. He takes the role of the phone guy from the games because while he's on the phone with Mike, he's explaining the job duties and everything.
Yeah.
Which is a reference to an old theory from FNAF 2 that the purple guy, a.k.a. William Afton, a.k.a. the man behind the slaughter, was the phone guy. So very funny. But I kind of wish that, like, that was more of an active thing.
Oh, yeah.
That, like, I kind of wish that instead of making Steve Raglan a career counselor, that he was just the owner of Freddy's.
Yeah.
Because the plot twist, quote unquote, the plot twist, unless you're me or any other person that has been keeping up with this movie since it was announced.
Yeah.
The plot twist is that Steve Raglan is actually William Afton, the original murderer. And I kind of wish that he was just William Afton the whole time.
Yeah.
And that the reveal was that he's the murderer. Obviously, it wouldn't be a reveal for fans.
Yeah.
But it would be a more sensible reveal because like the way that it's set up is that being a career counselor is how he's like choosing his victims.
Yeah.
But I feel like that angle makes more sense if he's just the owner of Freddy's.
Yeah, exactly. Because, like, I mean, the FNAF first game opens with, like, the newspaper ad of, like, security guard needed, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. And that would work.
Yeah, I would have liked it a lot more if it was like Mike just lost his job, he's looking for one, he's desperate. You can even still have like the career counselor shit, but like maybe with a different character as the counselor since it's such a small part of the movie anyways. But then like he just like sees this ad in the paper for a night security guard position and thinks, fuck it, that sounds easy.
Yeah.
And then he meets Matthew Lillard, William Afton, and gets the job. But like this is how William Afton's picking his victims because that is still how that's happening. But
and it's horrible because like William Afton is written like a twist villain, but of course like when the movie was just like getting news about it, it was like, oh, Matthew Lillard set to play
William Afton. Well, yeah, because at the time when casting was happening, like Steve Raglan wasn't a character.
Yeah.
So like whenever the casting was announced, it was announced Matthew Lillard is playing William Afton. Yeah. And so anybody that knows Five Nights at Freddy's, which is the people that would be keeping up with this news anyways, already knew that he was going to end up being the villain. Yeah. So I don't understand I understand the twist villain angle. I don't like how they played it.
It would have been better to make him from the start, it's like this guy is a serial killer, and like instead of those scenes in the pizzeria where like Foxy's lurking around, it's him. Yeah, it's like him in the bunny suit. And it's
like Freddy's is like just his hunting ground. Yeah, like he's doing like the most dangerous game, but with security guards.
And that's why each night gets like more dangerous. He's like bucking up to get like
that, and like maybe like each night he just like starts like sending off the other animatronics to do shit as well, so that Mike is distracted and stuff. Like I feel like they didn't really play into the whole angle that the games were originally, which is surviving the night.
I can understand it because
from
from a watching standpoint,
That'd be so fucking
it would be
boring.
horrible. You sit in one room the entire time, and Mike's just going, huh, boo, doo, doo, pressing
Yeah.
buttons on the walls.
Yeah, it would have been horrible from a movie watching standpoint, but at the same time, the angle they went with instead is that he's just having these dream sequences every single night, and I kind of wish that like it was a little bit more half and half. Like maybe the first night is him trying to survive, the second night, or maybe like the first night he has the dream, and then the second night he's like trying to survive or something. And so it just becomes like a mix of it, sort of, where like the actual shifts are him trying to survive, and then the dream sequences are like revealing answers to him, rather than the shifts just being him going to work and then going to sleep.
Yeah.
Because like it makes the animatronics not seem like a threat at all, because he doesn't like lock the door or anything. And in the first or second night, like Foxy's lurking about and like clearly trying to like get a read on this guy, but nothing happens.
The movie has this chronic issue of over-explaining things.
Yeah.
Like from the beginning, like Mike explains dream theory about 5 times.
Yeah.
And it's really annoying because like he explains it in the beginning with his buddy,
Yeah.
and then he explains it again to Abby, and he explains it again to Vanessa.
I think we could have done with just like the one explanation with Vanessa.
Yeah.
Because that one made the most sense thematically, because he leaves his sleeping pills at Freddy's before it gets broken into by those other characters that don't matter. They get mauled to death by the robots.
Yeah.
And so like he explains dream theory to Vanessa in that moment to explain why he has the sleeping pills and everything like that. And that's like the most sensible time to have that explanation.
Mm-hmm.
So just remove all the other ones.
And I think it's so obvious, like what's happening with like the kids inhabiting the animatronics.
Mm-hmm.
They spend so long coming to terms with that being a thing in their reality.
Yeah. And then also, okay, there's this one really stupid line where Vanessa's like explaining the murders to Mike and why the kids are inhabiting the animatronics, which is like whenever William Afton killed the original 5 missing kids, he stuffed their bodies in the animatronic suits to hide them.
Yeah.
And nobody found the bodies because of that. And so she says this line where it's just like, it's not just their souls in there, it's their bodies. And like, yeah, I feel like that line is not effective at all, because it should be in the reverse.
Yeah.
Like the better way to frame that line would be, it's not just their bodies in there, it's their souls.
Yeah.
But it's just like,
that is such a small change that would change it a lot, because then you can repaste that scene entirely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
And then you can also like, because clearly Afton knows that the souls are in there too.
Yeah.
As evidenced by his behavior around them whenever he shows up later. So he knows about it. So it would be interesting if it was not revealed to Mike by Abby, but revealed when it was relevant later by Vanessa. Because another plot twist, Vanessa is William Afton's daughter.
I hate that plot twist.
I have a love-hate relationship with it. I hate it from the angle that she's a cop.
That's fair.
Because it's established that she is helping her dad commit these murders. And it's implied that for the original 5 missing children's incident, she either witnessed it directly or directly helped him commit it.
Yeah.
Why is she a police officer in that case? Like, I guess it gives her the angle of like, she can easily sweep it under the rug a little bit more. But also, it's an abandoned restaurant.
Yeah.
Like, and also, like, she's also not the only cop in this city. And so if people are consistently getting jobs at this restaurant and going missing not even a week later, somebody's going to notice a pattern except for her. And one cop isn't going to be able to sweep all of that under the rug by herself.
Yeah. It's not like all the people that are working at Freddy Fazbear's, like, I'm assuming they don't really explain it, but like, I don't think they're all just moving into state and being like, oh, I'll get this security job position.
Mm-hmm. It's just established that security hires never last, and
Yeah.
because of the cold open and what happens later, it's implied that it's because either the animatronics kill them or Afton kills them.
Yeah. If they survive 5 nights, Afton kills them.
Yeah.
Because he was already there at the end too.
Mm-hmm.
He was just lurking.
Yeah, I kind of wish, like, I don't know if I would have wanted him to take like a more active role in like the security shifts himself, but I kind of wish that we could just like see him lurking about and doing stuff a little bit more.
Yeah.
That would have been fun. But we get to the 5th night,
Mm-hmm.
and so the 5th night, before the 5th night even happens, Mike goes back to Freddy's and tries to dream there like during the day, and one of the ghost children says like, we can bring your brother back, you just got to give us Abby.
Yeah.
Which that was kind of like, I knew that it was coming because they had the line in the trailer where Vanessa said they want to make her like them. So I knew that angle was coming, but I like the way that they handled it a lot though, of them like being friendly with her and then later it becomes really sinister.
Yeah.
That's very fun.
Yeah.
So like Mike accidentally agrees like in a moment of weakness and then almost dies and then finds the other corpses of the other people that died stuffed into the suits in the back, and then he escapes. And then the 5th night happens and Golden Freddy shows up, just fucking conks Aunt Jane on the head or whatever,
Yeah.
and takes Abby to Freddy's.
Mike comes back with a dead woman in his house that was actively trying to take the girl he has custody over.
Like I find it so funny that Mike has been having like a public custody battle with his aunt for weeks now. Not even for weeks. It's implied to have been going on before the events of the movie even started.
Yeah.
And suddenly she turns up dead in his house. Nothing comes of that.
And he's covered in like cuts.
Oh yeah, covered in injuries and blood.
Yeah. Abby's probably scraped up a little.
Yeah.
Like,
Very, very funny.
there's a man dead in the place that he worked.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I wouldn't know that one.
Yeah, I don't think they'd
He's
investigate
just in the
that.
back room twitching. I did that.
He's just in the kitchen, like, having a seizure.
He's zerking it.
He's fucking schmoovin' down back there. He's hitting the gritty back there. So, like, Mike figures out what's going on from Vanessa, figures out who William Afton is and everything like that, and goes back to Freddy's to save his sister. But then William Afton shows up in his yellow rabbit suit. Ooh, spooky, and beats the shit out of Mike, which the entire time that he is present is my favorite part of the movie.
It's so good.
Because Matthew Lillard has such like a commanding presence of the screen.
Yeah.
Every time he's there. His voice when he's in the suit is great. His like body acting is great because you don't see his face for most of this.
No, yeah.
And so he's just acting with his movements and he's great. He's so good.
Yeah, and God, the like the Springtrap costume as well as all the animatronics in general.
Yeah,
so
like
good.
Like
Jim Henson creature shop.
sidebar. Let's talk about the animatronics. They're perfect.
Oh, they're incredible.
They're beautiful.
Like scaling wise, they're made of the material you expect them to be.
Yeah, they are like perfect one-to-one recreations of the original 4 from the first game.
Yeah.
And the yellow rabbit suit that Afton wears is such like a perfect like de-aged version of Springtrap in FNAF 3.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's like torn up just enough to like it's been worn.
Yeah, and the of the main 4, Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica are actual animatronics as well as people in suits. And then Foxy's just completely an animatronic. He took like
robot legs.
And he's the most moving around one of all of them.
Yeah.
And he required like 7 puppeteers to operate, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's insane. And he moves so fluidly and perfectly. Oh, I love it.
I think what they did for the scenes where he's like running down the hall, he's on like a bumper car track.
Funny.
Like he's like attached to the ceiling and is just like launched down the hall.
Apparently on set one day his arm caught on fire.
incredible.
And
then
he's perfect.
The cupcake.
The cupcake.
Funny, but
irritating.
yeah.
The cupcake, like, I think has a higher kill count than any of the other animatronics.
It only killed once, but it has the highest attack count.
Yeah, it takes like a more active role in people suffering than any of the other animatronics do.
He almost got Mike.
He almost got Mike. That one part though, where it's just like lying on its side in the dark, and then the lights go off, and then they come back on. I get up.
Yeah,
and he's standing up again.
And then it's not used again.
No.
Yeah, that's the last cutaway that you see the cupcake, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think he comes back. No, he comes back before Afton gets spring locked.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they throw the cupcake at him.
Chica fucking throws the cupcake at Afton to set off the spring locks in the suit, which is, I wanted it to be done by them. I didn't want it to be done by the cupcake though.
That's funny. The spring locks. I loved it, but also like having seen all like the fan animations of like the original series, I know that it's like it's supposed to mess you up.
Yeah, like the spring lock scene, I felt they did like everything that they could have given the rating.
Yeah.
But I wanted so much more from it. Like, I know. Like, because in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, the spring locking scene in that is just like in an 8-bit Atari minigame. But his blood flies everywhere and it's pooling on the floor.
Yeah.
And I know that that's not how stab wounds work.
Yeah.
But I don't care.
Yeah, that's fair.
I want it to be gross.
Well, the thing with the spring locks in the game, there are diagrams of it ever since like Pizzeria Sim. And how they work is they just like pull all the like robot parts aside by springs, and then they lock them in place. Whoa, spring locks.
Crazy how that works.
And then when they fail, it just unlocks, and then everything will snap back in.
Yeah, all the robot bits.
Yeah, so all the key components. So it's like midway on all of your limbs, they just fully snap in half. And then so you're just fully contorted and broken all over your body.
But then like your body's contorted, but since it's shoving the robot pieces back in place, like it can't contort in the way that it's trying to.
Yeah.
And so it hurts even more.
It has like the endoskeleton pushing through your back, like into your spine. And then the robot eyes like shut in over your eyes and they just are embedded in your skull.
Yeah. I wanted it to be a lot more brutal.
Yeah.
Which if we got an R-rated version, it probably would have been.
Yeah.
But given the rating that we had and Matthew Lillard being
it was so
perfect.
Theatric. It was so good.
It was great.
Yeah.
Like
I always come back.
Like I'm going to talk about this scene for a little bit because this is one of my favorite and least favorite scenes in the movie because there are some things that they do really well and some things that they do really bad.
Yeah.
So first, I'm going to talk about one of the things that I liked first. So there's this drawing that we see throughout the movie of a yellow rabbit like holding hands and having fun with 5 kids.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So this is no, okay. I like this actually.
Okay.
Though, because it's clearly established. It's kind of established that the kids' memories aren't that great, and so I like the fact that Afton manipulates them through the drawings because it's like they see it, and so they like see this and think the yellow rabbit is my friend.
Yeah.
Because they don't remember being killed. They remember being killed, but they don't remember the specifics.
Yeah.
I like that they change. I like the angle that they have to literally change the drawing to the yellow rabbit killing the kids for them to realize, oh, that's our guy. That's him. That's the guy. So I like that a lot.
It does make sense. Although I feel like Golden Freddy, I'm going to call him Cassidy because that's just in the game lore, that's what we've determined it is. And he's a blonde boy with an orange shirt. So it's like, okay. So Cassidy, you'd think would remember because he's supposed to be the most enraged and like omnipotent one. And I feel like if they had established a little bit of his presence more in that scene, it would have been so much better.
I agree, but also it is established that Cassidy is like the only one that doesn't have a physical body.
Yeah.
More or less. Because Golden Freddy is clearly ethereal in some way.
Yeah, because Abby looks back and he's just
gone. Like he just vanishes and appears mysteriously. And the implication of that in the games is that Golden Freddy is another spring lock suit that is not in animatronic mode, and so it can't move.
Yeah.
So, and then in the scene where Abby changes the drawing, she only draws 4 of the kids. She never ends up drawing Cassidy.
Yeah.
I think you can, like, I think if you look at all the 4 kids that she drew, none of them are the blonde boy with the brown shirt. And so, like, I think Cassidy does still have that sort of omnipotent presence among the kids, and that's why he knows what's going on.
Yeah.
But I think because I think the implication is that because he doesn't have a physical body, he doesn't have as much influence in the real world.
That's fair.
Golden Freddy should have been in more of the movie anyways,
Yeah.
but that's a different criticism altogether.
I do like how he's the only child that talks.
Yes.
That does make
I
sense.
like that he is like very clearly the ringleader, because the other kids are all like confused and angry, but they don't really know what they're confused and angry at, but Cassidy does.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of the one that knows what's going on. I like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
And then, so for the final night, like, Afton beats the shit out of Mike. Vanessa shows up and tries to save the day. Afton stabs her. That was an unexpected thing that I wasn't like, I was like, oh wow, they did that.
Yeah.
They hurt, like, severely hurt one of the main characters. I thought that she was going to be dead.
On brand for Afton.
On brand for Afton.
Yeah.
He does not care about his children.
No, not at all.
Not, at least not to the point where he is willing to keep them safe.
Yeah.
But then they change the drawing so that it shows Afton killing the kids, and so the animatronics turn against him. Chica throws the cupcake at him. She sends her stand after him, and Afton gets spring locked by the suit, which is a great scene that I really like.
Gets stabbed.
I do wish that it was a bit more brutal, but you know, given the PG-13 rating, I thought they did a really good job. And Matthew Lillard is, of course, mwah.
Yes.
And then Afton says the line, "I always come back," his famous line, and puts the animatronic head back on, and then gets dragged off, twitching and dying.
Yeah.
So what I don't like about this scene is both of those things I just mentioned.
Him saying, "I always come back."
I don't like that, and I don't like that he puts the head back on. So first of all, the "I always come back" line. That was like an established Afton catchphrase in Pizzeria Simulator. So that wasn't even a thing that came up until the 6th game in the series.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And by that point, he had already like died twice. And so at that point in the games, he understands that he can keep coming back from the dead, which is why he says it.
That's fair.
At this point in the movie, there is no reason for him to say that line other than for fans to point at the screen and go, "He said the line."
That is fair. It is the Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the screen moment.
Yeah, I've heard like some people say like, "Oh, he knows that since he's about to die in a suit that he'll probably be able to possess it, which is why he's saying it." But I think that Afton's not that smart. So I don't think that there's any good in universe reason for him to say that line.
In the movies, it depends if Afton is that smart or not. They'll have to establish it later. But in the game series, he's insanely intelligent.
Oh yeah, like he probably like didn't know that he personally would be able to come back like at the time that he got spring locked in the games, but he clearly knew about the ghosts and about the possessions and about
Remnant,
which
thing.
we're not gonna get into that. We will be here for hours if we talk about Remnant.
Find me and talk to me. I'll talk to you about Remnant, but not right now.
Same here. Not here though. That's not that kind of show. But in the movie, it is the only thing that it is established that he knows is that the ghosts are possessing the animatronics. That is the only thing that he knows for certain. And that he knows that he can manipulate them. So there is no good reason in universe for him to say, "I always come back" as he is dying. Because at this point, why would he know that he's going to come back? Obviously he is, because sequels.
And even if he did, then saying, "I will come back" is a little different, but better.
Yeah, I would have preferred like, because obviously there's going to be more movies because this movie like made its budget 10 times over, and so obviously there's going to be sequels. I would have preferred this line to be in like the third movie, potentially, like after another near-death experience or something.
Yeah.
And then the other issue that I have with the scene is that he puts the animatronic head back on. I like it from a standpoint of like he dies in the suit, so he has the whole suit on.
Yeah.
I wish that one of the other animatronics put it on him.
His head, yeah.
Like I wanted like Freddy to grab the head and put it on his head in like a symbolic gesture of he stuffed them in the suit, so now they're stuffing him in a suit.
It would have also been a good moment
It
for Golden Freddy to have appeared again, or like the child, like Cassidy just appears and slams it on.
Yeah, something like that. Like anything besides him doing it himself. Because also in the moment of him dying, I don't think it makes sense. It makes sense from a standpoint of like, this is his thing. Like he is obsessed with this costume.
Yeah.
Like in both the games and the movie, it is very clearly established that like the yellow rabbit is his thing. Yeah. And it's something that he loves wearing and doing murders in. Yeah. And so it makes sense from that standpoint, but also like actively dying.
Yeah. Yeah. He can't turn at all when he's like fully gotten his like torso shredded.
Yeah. At this point, every spring lock in the suit has slammed into his rib cage and has completely punctured his lungs and organs.
I always go back. Yeah, exactly.
Very funny. But, you know, he dies in the suit, and so I still like that. They drag him into the kitchen, and he's, like, laying on the floor twitching.
Doing the twitching.
Very cool.
Great reference to the FNAF 3 trailer.
Yeah, that's where that originally was. In the FNAF 3 trailer, there's a shot of Springtrap twitching, like, while sitting on the floor. Yeah. And I think the implication is that that is when he first got spring-locked.
Yeah.
So great stuff. And that's basically the movie. Like there's nothing else of consequence that happens after that.
Shrimply, yeah, it's just a wrap up after that.
So,
well, no, Corey Kenshin gets jump scared by Balloon Boy.
Gets jump scared by Balloon Boy.
There are
Balloon Boy is very
Balloon
funny.
Boy jump scares.
They're all funny.
Yeah, they're so good.
Like before the movie came out, somebody said that there was like a secret other animatronic in the movie that hadn't been revealed in any of the trailers, and I think it was just Balloon Boy.
Probably.
So speaking of Balloon Boy, let's talk about the references a little bit, because there's a ton.
Oh, my God.
This movie is made for fans.
Should we go from the beginning or just go from, like, best to worst?
Let's go from, like, just, like, off the rip. What comes to mind immediately?
Oh, my God. The Mike passes it, like, really quickly, but there's a mirror in the movie that says, "It's me."
Yep.
Incredible.
Really good.
That was a good reference for the fans.
And also, like, a really good moment to put that in the movie.
Yeah.
Like,
and
I think it's after, like, the second dream sequence.
Yeah.
Or maybe the first dream sequence.
But
really good.
If you want to stretch a little, you can say that it's, like, Afton doing that kind of shit.
Yeah, I like to think that, like, Matthew Lillard as William Afton just, like, snuck into the office while Mike was asleep and just, like,
I'll always come back.
It's me. I got all the catchphrases in this movie. My favorite reference, the one that I remember off the top of my head, is Sparky.
Oh, my God, Sparky the dog.
Sparky the dog is a deep cut.
Yeah.
This goes back to 2014 in the first game. There was a fake image of the parts and service camera footage in the first game where you could see in the door like a dog animatronic peeking its head in. Yeah. And this was like, it was a hoax, it was fake, but it was just like a big thing for a while that, oh my God, secret dog animatronic, let's call him Sparky because that's a fun dog name. Yeah. And so in this movie, Sparky the dog is just one of like the spare suits in the back.
Yeah, and the girl that gets cut in half is in it. In that one scene.
It's great. Like and then the diner is also called Sparky's. Which is funny. Matt Pat with his name tag, it said Ness.
Yes. Oh my God.
Which is that's not even a FNAF reference.
That's a Matt Pat reference.
Yeah, that's a game theory Matt Pat reference to one of his most infamous theories of
Sans Ness.
Yeah, Sans from Undertale and Ness from Earthbound, same character, and so he's wearing a name tag that says Ness. Oh my God, so funny.
It is incredible. And Corey Kenshin, of course.
Corey Kenshin, another good FNAF content creator.
Yeah. Did you know he was in the original script? I saw a thing that Matt Pat said about this. Corey Kenshin was supposed to drop the only F-bomb in the movie. And before the movie dropped, I'd seen the trailers. I was like, I'm betting right now that Corey's going to drop the only F-bomb they're allowed to put. And it didn't happen. And I found the video. I was like, oh my God.
It should have happened at the end when he gets jump scared by Balloon Boy.
Yes. Yeah, that was the plan.
Yeah.
That was exactly because, I mean.
They should have kept it in. They had it. It wouldn't have changed their rating at all.
Exactly.
And it's not like the kids watching this movie are strangers to cuss words because they're all watching Markiplier play this game.
The beginning cut of the original script in the movie, too, didn't have the I always come back line. Yeah.
Better timeline.
Yeah.
Another thing, the security guard in the cold open was supposed to be played by Markiplier originally, but he wasn't able to due to scheduling conflicts because he was making his own movie, which I would have loved to see that. I hope that he's able to make a cameo in like a sequel or something.
Yeah.
What are some other references?
Dream Theory,
which was a popular theory around the time of Five Nights at Freddy's 4.
Yeah.
The idea that the entire series was dreams. The guy who gets killed by the cupcake, his T-shirt has the Midnight Motorist minigame on it.
Yes, it does.
From Pizzeria Simulator, which is a huge lore thing for the game.
Yeah, it's Old Man Consequence too. In that thing. So
great stuff.
The other animatronic in the movie isn't Baby,
the doll one.
Yeah, the doll one. It's from one of the books.
Yeah, the cover of one of the Fazbear Frights novels.
Yeah.
Fazbear Fright novels. Ella is its name.
Is it? Yeah, Ella.
Yeah, it's this doll-faced animatronic that the main four try to stuff Abby into towards the climax of the movie. That's very fun.
So there are other references.
There's more. There's gotta be more.
So many. Oh, the Let's Party posters in the movie.
Oh yeah, the Celebrate poster.
Yeah, the Celebrate.
I have that in my house.
That's incredible.
the poster that is in the office in the first game is in the movie, which is great.
The fact that Springtrap is put in the kitchen at the end.
Yes.
As a reference to the first game kitchen camera being out.
Yes.
Oh, that is such a niche little thing to slide in there.
Really good. The fact Foxy running down the hallway.
Yep.
Foxy.
Absolutely.
The fact that Foxy was like the most mobile of the animatronics, I thought was interesting.
Yes.
I didn't necessarily like it, but Foxy in the first game is the only one that has a movement animation that isn't a jump scare.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a fun kind of like half reference almost.
As an editor, the most incredible transition in that movie is where they're starting to chase all of them, and it's like the kid version of Foxy's in the booth, and he's like standing there, and he like slides back into the shadow, and then comes out as Foxy.
Very cool.
Oh my god.
Very cool.
I saw it happen. I was like, how'd they do that? I need to know.
Very good. Oh god, so good.
It was certainly an edit because it was unrealistic shadowing. So it was certainly made.
There were the building had issues with power.
Didn't have enough.
It didn't have enough, but it was like a penultimate moment, like shutting down the power.
Yeah.
In Night 5,
stuffing people in the suits on its own is like
stuffing
a big
people
thing.
in the suits.
Yeah.
Honestly, like the whole torture Freddy suit.
Yeah.
There's this like chair that the security guard in the beginning and Mike was later locked into that had this Freddy mask with saw blades that was being lowered down, which is a double reference of sorts because the animatronics in the first game or in all of the games, when they kill you, you get stuffed into a suit, which also kills you. And also in Sister Location, it's established that Afton built some of the animatronics, particularly the Funtime animatronics, as death traps. And so the idea of there being this suit in Freddy's that is a death trap is like a double reference, which I think is cool.
Oh my god, I'm looking at references now. There is an out-of-universe reference in it, and I didn't even realize
To Scream?
Yeah, to Scream.
Yeah.
It's the knife swipe. Matthew
Yeah.
Lillard does the Stu like
The Stu
clean.
Macher knife
Yeah.
clean. Because, like, Matthew Lillard was one of the ghost faces in the original Scream movie, and he has this move where he, like, grabs the knife, like, flat in his hand and cleans the blood off of it. And Afton does that same move as Spring Bonnie. And also, him having a knife as is the Yellow Rabbit is a reference, because he's never had a knife in the games.
Yeah.
That was a fan thing.
Yeah.
Like, fan depictions always either depicted Afton with a knife or with a fire axe.
Yeah, you're right.
And so the knife, like him having a knife, like it makes sense because he's a serial killer. But in and of itself, it's a reference to a fan creation. And as well as the picture of like unwithered yellow Spring Bonnie. Like there's never been a canon Spring Bonnie unwithered appearance, but there was one in a photograph, which apparently was just like a CGI generated image.
Was it?
Yeah, that wasn't a real picture. They didn't have like a real Spring Bonnie suit.
That makes sense. It makes sense that you do that.
Yeah. So it was like a CGI Spring Bonnie suit, but it was very similar to like fan depictions of what unwithered Spring Bonnie would look like.
Yeah, we did see like the like 8-bit version in FNAF 4, but it wasn't like full.
Oh, the opening sequence.
Oh gosh, yes.
Is like this little 8-bit animation depicting William's original murders, which is so cool.
Yeah,
it's so good. The score of this movie is incredible.
Yeah,
like the music, mwah. Oh my god, like especially like the main theme that plays during the opening of the movie is really good.
Super good. Big easy reference. Mike's name.
Oh yeah, Mike is revealed at the end to be Mike Schmidt.
Yeah. Early in.
It's not fully revealed until later, but obviously like whenever quote unquote Steve Raglan is like reading Mike's name, he gets to Schmidt and he doesn't say it at first because he realizes, oh, this is the brother of that guy that I killed, of that kid that I killed however many years ago. And then at the end he says like, so long, Michael Schmidt.
Yeah.
And Mike Schmidt is the name of the security guard that you play as in the first game. Whenever you get the paycheck, it says Mike Schmidt on it. Yeah. Very fun. So like kind of a reference, kind of not. It might have just been like a music licensing thing, but the animatronics are seen performing the song Talking in Your Sleep several times. Like it's the only song that they are ever seen performing, which could be seen as a reference to Phone Guy in the first game saying, if I had to play those same stupid songs for 20 years and I never got a bath. So it could be seen as a reference to them playing the same songs over and over again, which is funny.
Weird thing, not really reference, but contradiction. They use tasers to stop the animatronics.
Yeah, which might be a reference to Controlled Shocks.
Oh yeah,
in Sister Location. Oh yeah, talking in your sleep is like relevant to the whole dream theory thing that's going on. Thank you, Adam.
Yeah, we are entirely.
I completely forgot about that. Yeah, we mentioned dream theory and then didn't come back to it because it's the most cringe FNAF theory in existence.
Yeah,
it's the worst one.
Matt Pat
was not cooking on that one. Matt Pat burnt the food on that theory. I don't. Do you have any like final thoughts you'd wish to share? Thoughts? Like anything particular that we haven't already discussed?
I don't know. This movie spoke to my nostalgia fully, but upon leaving and going and sitting in my car for a bit, I was like, I've seen better movies.
Yeah. You know, I went to this movie. I went to the theater as a 21-year-old grown-ass man, but I watched that movie as the 12-year-old Five Nights at Freddy's obsessed kid that I was when the first few games came out. So I was watching it in the mindset of like, oh my God, like it's my childhood. Like literally, like my childhood literally coming to life. So like plus like I'm a sucker for practical effects. Like even if they're like a little bad, which in this movie they're great, but even if they are a little corny and bad, I will take practical effects over CGI any day of the fucking week.
Crabsolutely.
Shrimply. So like this movie spoke to both the child in me that loved Five Nights at Freddy's and the adult in me that loves practical effects more than anything else.
I'm a big original remake The Thing fan.
Mhm.
So practical.
John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah.
Very good. We'll have to talk about that sometime. But we've been going for a while. We've been cooking.
An hour.
We've been cooking for
time.
I think we are ready to rate this.
All right.
So out of 5 stars, Paddington
5
2.
stars.
Paddington 2, averaged across all sorts of sources, is about 4 stars. So if it's above 4, then it's better than Paddington 2. If it's below 4, then it's worse than Paddington 2. So out of 5 stars, what would you rate Five Nights at Freddy's?
What would we give Morbius?
Morbius has 1 star.
Has 1 star. Okay.
I refuse to believe that this movie is as bad as Morbius.
It's not as bad as Morbius. I wanted to make sure I was scaling things right. I need
Good.
to know the bottom of the barrel first.
Good.
I'd give this like a 2.5, maybe a 3 on a good night.
Yeah. Care to explain? Like sum up your thoughts for your rating.
Very nostalgic movie. I love it as a FNAF fan and the fact that it happened.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of upset as a horror movie lover though, and as a general like media liker,
Right.
that it's like the way it is, and there's like we talked about the over explaining and stuff. It kind of really dragged it, but in terms of effects and camera work, it's really crisp and it's nice, and it's done well.
Lighting is also mostly really good. There are some areas where it leaves a bit to be desired, but mostly the lighting's great. It
is entirely a fan service movie, but having gone and been in the community of it and getting to see like the theater reaction, worth it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing that really helped the movie for me.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna have to agree and give this about a 3 star.
Yeah, 3 star.
My personal rating, like for me as a FNAF enjoyer and a stupid movie enjoyer, I give this 5 stars. But as a movie, it is more than likely 3 stars at most.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of great things about it. It's got a lot of things that I love about it. It is ultimately bogged down by the things that don't work.
Yeah.
However, I don't think that it's fair to say like this movie is unfriendly to newcomers of the series. Okay? It's not for you.
Yeah.
Like not to be not to gatekeep or anything, but this movie has been like an 8-year-long passion project for people that have been fans of the series since 2014.
For real.
So like the fact that it's better for people that have been fans for so long than it is for people that are new to the series, I don't think is a problem, because it should be for the fans.
Yeah.
Because the fans are the only reason that it was able to happen in the first place.
It's not that difficult. If you look a little bit into the lore, you'll fully get it.
Yeah, but like it suffers from a lot in terms of writing and just like storytelling in general.
Yeah.
But the effects in it, the lighting design, the camera work, the costume design.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Costume design is great.
Oh. It's got a lot of good things about it, and I'm very excited to see a sequel, but I'm going to have to give it a 3 star.
3 stars sounds good.
I'm sorry, Freddy. But
Free fubber.
Averaging out between our 2 3-star ratings, that would give Five Nights at Freddy's a solid 3 stars, which makes it worse than Paddington 2. Yeah, Freddy was not the superior bear in this battle. But yeah, like if you're a fan of FNAF, you'll love this movie more than likely. And if you're not a fan of FNAF, you'll probably hate it. And honestly, I don't care. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I will not read them.
I will. I read all.
Sloane will read them to me. But yeah, do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with the audience?
Well, Ben, before it all ends, I always come back.
Sloane will return on Is It Better Than Paddington 2? But with that said, that's going to wrap us up for this episode. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Sloane, for being here with me.
Thank you for having me, Ben.
Oh, is there anything that you'd like to plug Anything of yours that you'd like to plug?
Anything that I'd like to plug?
Yeah.
Well, guys,
Because I'm about to shamelessly plug my other stuff. So.
Okay, great. Well, if you guys don't know, hi, I am Sloane Quick Draw McCraw, and I am the host of Cult Confessionals on Cult of Media, and also community outreach. So check out our Instagram and our TikTok. We're going to be making some more stuff. So keep in line with your Cult of Media.
Absolutely. And Sloane, at the time that this episode releases, episode 3 of 6663 WZRD, The Wizard, will be out, which Sloane does appear on as multiple roles. So be sure to check her out on there, and also on episode 4, where she will appear again. And I'm also on there. I helped create that show, so please watch it.
Please.
I'm begging. I'm begging. Also watch Chalice. I was on an episode of Chalice the day before this recorded.
Live streamed every Wednesday at 7 p.m.
Yep. It's great fun. We just
CST.
Drink a funny drink and have a good time.
Yeah.
But that's going to do us for this episode of Is It Better Than Paddington 2? So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you again, Sloane, for being here.
Glad to be here.
And always remember, if we're kind and polite, the world will be right. Thanks for listening.